For whatever reason, Charles Barkley doesn't want to state who he thinks the greatest player of all time is. He calls it weak journalism. He doesn't want to contribute to this discourse. But here he is, making waves with this national reaction that he has on live TV. And he was shocked to hear that the player who has played 7 more seasons and nearly 500 more games is still behind Jordan in 30-point games. Is this conclusive evidence that Michael is greater than LeBron? It's a factor, for sure. However, high-scoring games aren't the only factor to consider. That's fair to say. But as far as this supposed debate on who the greatest scorer is, this should shut it down for the rest of time. It will stay alive, unfortunately, for all the hardcore LeBron fans who think he's the greatest in every single aspect of the game. Putting them aside, there is an argument that you can make for LeBron. Michael is easily the more dominant scorer. He completely controls the game with his aggressive scoring mindset. You know he's looking to score. You still can't stop him. His fundamentals, one-on-one skill, footwork, ball handling, shooting precision, strength. You couldn't stop him. All you could do was hope that he missed. LeBron controls the game in a whole different way. When he gets going, when he's in rhythm, he can score a whole bunch of points. We all know this. But he has to work to get to that point. Jordan is averaging 30 points every single season of his prime. He did it for 7 straight seasons. In 5 of those years, he's shooting over 50% from the field. You didn't have to wonder if he was going to get you 30. In fact, getting 30 was the league's version of containing him. You just wanted to avoid a 40-point game, a 50-point game, and even a 60-point game. Think about this. Jordan averaged 30 points per game, 7 out of the 15 seasons he played. That's nearly 50% of the time. LeBron has done it 3 of the 21 full seasons he's played. That's 14%. What are we arguing about again? Now let's look at 40-point games. Jordan has 173 total, which is second all time. He's behind Wilt Chamberlain. LeBron is 7th all time. Not bad, right? He has 77 total. So he's behind by 96. I'm just giving y'all the numbers. They're talking for me. I ain't got to say anything. Now let's do 50-point games. Jordan has 31. He's second all time to Wilt. LeBron is 7th all time again. Not bad, right? He has 14 total. So that's 17 more than Bron. Now let's do 60-point games. Jordan has 4. 5 if we include the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there. LeBron has a grand total of 1. So the greatest scorer of all time only has 1. What do the numbers say, boys and girls? That Jordan is a more dominant scorer by a mile. But LeBron has over 40,000 points. He's the all-time leader in points. Doesn't that mean that he's the greatest scorer over Michael Jordan? Well, if we're using that logic, then Karl Malone is a greater scorer than MJ, Kobe, Durant, Hakeem, Curry. Let's throw in Wilt Chamberlain. Is that true? We all know the answer to that question. Players who are blessed with long careers and few injuries are going to have the opportunity to compile a whole bunch of points and other stats. In Malone's case, he was allowed to give you 20 every night. During his peak, his strength and ability to run the floor made him a high-efficient scorer. But the player that's 3rd all-time in points only has 1 season where he averaged over 30 points. To say he was a greater scorer than any of those players would be foolish. I think LeBron falls under that boat. That record speaks more to his longevity than his ability as a scorer. He's consistent, he's efficient, he's skillful. I'll give you all that. But definitely not more dominant of a scorer than Jordan. Well, that's because LeBron's a pass-first player. How many times have we heard this false narrative? Well, it needs to stop. I don't know what your definition of a pass-first player is, but for me, it's someone that passes more than he shoots. It's someone that averages more assists than field goals. It's not someone who has had 6 seasons of averaging more than 20 field goal attempts. His career high is 23.1 shot attempts per game, which happened in 06. For his career, he has averaged 19.6 field goal attempts. In what universe is that a pass-first player? That's a scorer's mentality. This is a pass-first player. Look at John Stockton's numbers. He averaged 10.5 assists for his career, while averaging 9.1 field goal attempts. He's facilitating more than he's shooting. Now look at Chris Paul. He's in his 20th season. He's played just as long as LeBron has, but he only has over 22,000 points. Why is that? Because he's an actual pass-first player. He's not someone that's going to take 20 shot attempts on any given night. You don't get to be the all-time leader in points, field goal attempts, and misses if you're a pass-first player. Is that how it works? I don't know who invented this narrative that LeBron is a pass-first player. I've heard it for over 2 decades. Does he play hero ball? Is he a gunner like a Kobe or a Tracy McGrady used to be? No. If you want to say his strength is in scoring, okay, sure. I'll give you that. Maybe that's more accurate. But I can tell you one thing. Michael's strength is scoring. That's why he is unquestionably the more dominant and the greater scorer that LeBron is. And if you're like me and Charles Barkley, you don't want to admit it, but you know it, that's why he's your GOAT.